All right, we have arrived at our last section of the chapter. Oh, so exciting. One thing I've realized, I haven't played the debit and credit wrap lately, so we need to get that going today. I realized it last night when I was pinning flowers. I was asking people, I had my rights and lefts but mixed up because, of course, when I'm facing someone, it's opposite. So then and there, I decided we need to play the debit and credit wrap today. So we journalize and post to the ledgers. Ledgers are super organized. The journal is sort of organized. It's just everything chronologically listed. Today, then, we take what we did in the ledger and put it in the trial balance. So lots of homes for numbers, but this is our last ditch effort to make sure that our debits equal our credits. What is a trial balance? A trial balance proves the mathematical equality of the debits and credits, taking what you did in the journal and what you posted in the general ledger. So it's simply just making sure your debits equal your credits, and it's from the ledger after you've done all of the posting, and it's typically done at the end of the fiscal period. It's listed in order of the general ledger, which is typically all the balance sheet accounts, followed by the income statement accounts. So it will list assets, liabilities, owner's equity, revenue, and expenses. It will typically be in the order of how the general ledger is listed. So if I had to tell you the full-on process, we journalize and post to the ledger. We take the ledger balances and create a trial balance, simply to make sure our debits equal our credits, usually done at the end of a fiscal period. What does it look like? You should have this in your notes. It looks like this. It looks like a listing of debits and credits. These are normal balance sides. Hence the reason you see some over here, because notice owner's drawing is part of OE but doesn't follow OE rules. Expense and expense are part of OE technically, but they don't follow the credit rules. They follow debit rules. Is it in there? Maybe not? That's okay. It'd be at the end if it's anything in there. Oh, okay. So you maybe don't have this one in there. That's okay. It's easy to do. So again, we've journalized, posted to our ledger. We take those final balances and simply list them in what's called a trial balance. And you guys, that's it. That's it for the chapter. We made it. Okay. We are going to do brief exercise 2-9 together, and then you're going to do the do it 2-4 by yourself. I will provide the answers though so you can see them at the end, and then we'll listen to the wrap, and there will be probably a little bit of time to spare. I hope both of them are in there. They should be. Brief exercise 2-9. Yay, so you've got them. Perfect. Okay, so together we'll do this brief exercise 2-9. It's giving you workbook pages and textbook pages. So I'm on page 81, exercise 2.9, and it says, from the ledger balances given below, prepare a trial balance for the DeRoche company. List the accounts in order on page 73 of the text. All account balances are normal, meaning they're the normal balance size. So what they've done is they've kind of jumbled them up, okay? And we have to put them in the correct order. Is there little T accounts on there? Or is that a separate? Yeah, you don't need that. We can just X that out. You don't need that. Oh, okay. Brief exercise 2.9. It's on text, or it's on workbook page 43. So there is not a T account thing there? Okay. Okay. So find the DeRoche company trial balance. Jenna's making a big guess here. She thinks cash goes first. Is she correct? Yeah. Remember, we're going assets, liabilities, owner's equity to revenue and expenses, okay? So we're going to go in that order. She's right. Cash goes first. It's got a normal debit balance. And according to the little notes here, that those are the normal balances and they're the final balances. Right. Yeah. No one's got a negative balance. Out of the list, which one do you think is next? If I had to knock to get my money from someone, accounts receivable. Equipment's coming next, though, Carrie. All of this is on page 81 in your textbook. So brief exercise, it's got a listing of all, yep. I think cash goes on line 1. Right, it runs into the debit and credit headings. Yep. So we're putting them in order of, right now we're putting them in order of liquidity. You guys remember me talking about this? They're in order of how fast we can turn them into cash. The next one's equipment of $17,000. And the reference to page 73 just tells you what order to put them in. Are there any more assets? So if there's no more assets, what are we moving on to next? The L, the liabilities. How many liabilities do you see? You're looking for the word payable. Okay, so you're just going to list accounts payable. We're coming over to the credit side because liabilities have a credit balance. They're on the right side of the big T. Right means credit. We don't see notes payable, do we? No. Next, we're going to list the owner's capital because that's an OE. Owner's capital is what the owner's invested in the business. It's on the right side because it's on the right side of the large T. Is there something that offsets the owner's capital, though? A naughty account. Next, we're going to have owner's drawing, but you'll see that back over on the debit side because remember, although it's an OE, it is naughty and doesn't follow the OE rules. It offsets OE. Okay, so I've seen 3 assets. I've seen 1 liability. I've seen 2 OE. What's next? Service revenue. Revenue has a credit balance. It's on the right side of the big T. It makes owner's equity go up. It's much harder to do it this way than the actual way you're supposed to. And then we've got two expenses listed there. Again, they are technically OE type accounts, but they are nutty. They do not add to the value of OE, they minimize. Which order should you do them in? It seems to vary even by chapter. I don't care which order you put those in. You'd put them in order of how they show up on the general ledger, but we're not using a general ledger right now. Do we have any other accounts? We shouldn't. So that's where you are going to single rule, because that means there's math that we have to do above. And then we're going to total them and then double rule underneath. And that, my friends, is it. That's as easy as it gets. I want to just backtrack to yesterday what we did, so I can show you the more holistic approach here. Remember yesterday how we journalized all of this and then we posted to here? That would be the better way to make a trial balance. We would have done cash at 2,300, and maybe we should have used those numbers. That would have made more sense. But then you know what order to put your trial balance in, because it's this order. Does that make sense? Okay. And that's how you'll do it for the test. You'll journalize, you'll post, and then you'll make a trial balance. Okay. I would like you to try do it 2-4. Do it 2-4 is on the top of page 82 in your textbook. They've made it a little easier for you on this do it 2-4 because of what? What have they provided in addition to the accounts and their balances? They've also done account numbers. And so you know cash is going to go first. You know accounts receivable will go second. You know supplies will go third, and then you know equipment will go fourth because of 101, 112, 126, and 157. You know it's going in that order because of the accounts. So I would like you to try do it 2-4. It's on page 82 in your work or your textbook, and there is a workbook page for you, I believe. Correct? I'll show you the answers at the end just so you can make sure you did them correctly. This won't take very long. Looks like we've got 2 payables. Now, what number was notes payable? Must have been higher than, or what's that? What was the notes payable account number? 201? Oh, 200. That's why it was listed first. Typically, accounts payable is listed first, but. And there's the rest. So go ahead and take a quick check at numbers and placement and making sure that it equaled 150,000. This process is pretty easy. You're just taking totals from somewhere, plunking them in with their debit or credit balances, and making sure everything still equals. We will do more with trial balances in the next chapter. We will even have what's called an adjusted trial balance. So you'll end up doing 2 of these. This is a lot easier when you're looking at a general ledger, because it's all listed there in order. What questions can I answer about this? None?